Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Monday, the 17th of June, 2019, and it is time for episode 36 of the PDG Advertising Podcast. Welcome. So today was a celebration for PDG Advertising. Our team member Anthony came on as a full-time team member today. And as such, did we have cake? Did we have drinks? Did we go for lunch? No. We had an extra long Monday morning meeting. And I wanted to share with you that we had done that. Every Monday morning, Anthony and I, we meet to plan out our week ahead. And it's proved really useful in the past and now to map out what we're doing and divvy up how we're going to work together and see how the week will pan out. But today's was very, very long. It was an hour and a half long. And I have to say, an attention span is like 20 minutes or so. That could be the reason why these PDG advertising podcasts end up being about 20 minutes, because that's the level of concentration I have for any one thing at any given time. But an hour and a half in, and I don't know why and I don't know what it was about, but I think we were both raring to go throughout the whole lot of it, focused and just worked on getting each of our customers in order and making sure that we were focused on our goals and making sure we were aligning with our overall goals of customer growth, great quality of service and brand awareness. And those are three really powerful metrics for us to go by. And they're definitely helping us align and do a great job for the customers. So the Monday morning meeting, very important. And on that Monday morning meeting, we plan out what we're going to do for the day ahead. We don't have one every day. We don't have a meeting every day. I think maybe we should in time, but right now I think it might be a bit overwhelming to have one every day. So we only have one every Monday morning. And as I say, today's one went on for an hour and a half, but it was good. We planned out what we were doing for the week. I suppose I should say as well what we used during the Monday morning meeting. And we used Asana. Asana is a task management software. So previously we were using like spreadsheets and things like that, but found Asana very useful in delegating tasks and categorizing tasks into projects and splitting out our time over the week. So I introduced Anthony to that, and yeah, we were able to work on it really well together and plan out our week ahead. On a website, there's so much that can go wrong. It's like a house, only I think it's possibly even more complicated than building a house and maintaining a house, because on a house, you don't have like 10 different browsers that people can use or 10 different screen sizes that people can use. A house is a house, really, and you use your eyes to see it. So, hey, look, I'm not saying houses aren't complicated things and they're simple, but like websites can be really, really complex. And what can happen is you can make a typo or a spelling mistake on a website. And something happened today that I really like it whenever it happens. And it's when we are doing our thing in digital advertising for the customer, and we'll notice something wrong with the website, whether we have done it or whether the customer has done it themselves. And we're able to flag back and say, look, there's a problem there, and I think that you need to fix it, because the user journey, if there's a spelling mistake on your website or something's broken, a broken link or an image isn't working, then it shouts out the quality. It shouts out to caring about the website. It shouts out the quality of service. It shouts out, I guess I'm going to say quality quite a few times here, because that's what it's all about. And you don't want people to come away with a bad impression of your website. But whenever we're able to point it out, whenever we're responsible for it, for sure we need to fix it and make sure it's right and make sure it's constantly right. But if we're not responsible for it and we notice it and then we feed back to the customer, I think that's only added value, can only be added value. And it's meant that whenever we do that, we usually get more business from it. We usually get some sort of overview of the website. We usually get asked, could you do a full audit of it, make sure everything else is okay, things like that. And they're valuable things to do, and business owners really want them. So I really appreciated it today when one of our team members, Tanya, whenever she was doing some Google ads, that she picked up on some problems on the website that really she didn't need to flag, but she did because she understood that it would add value to myself and my client relationship and to my customer's business. And that's the kind of thing that we want. That's what we want to be doing. We want to be finding, if we see something wrong, we want to flag it. We don't want to let it fester and let it get worse. And I think that's a real mark of quality. So I was really pleased with that today. And I'm always pleased with how that happens. It wasn't actually the first time that it happened. Today on another website we saw a problem. It was another typo, and it was interesting how we had to flag that. We didn't want to flag it to the owner of the business. We wanted to flag it to the developer, so that he could get it fixed. So we did that without, a public hanging of someone whenever you see something wrong. So instead of doing that, in order to make sure we kept relationships up and worked well together, and that I believe has a better effect than calling something out in front of a lot of people. I don't know what exactly I'm trying to say there. What I'm saying is, we won't always, like, if we find a problem, if we only deal with the website owner, we'll have to send it to the website owner. But if we also work with key stakeholders like the web developer, the webmaster, or the data controller, or the copywriter, or something like that, then we'll bring it up with them. We won't always bring it straight to the owner. I think that would be wrong to do. And I think in one of the earlier posts we did, or one of the earlier podcasts we did about stakeholder management, I think that's an important part where we're not like turning into this telltale function where we're going about looking for things wrong. Now, we don't always get that back in return from people. Some people are quite happy to call us out very, very publicly on things whenever we do something wrong. And I don't mind that so much. And sometimes there's a desire to maybe retaliate a little bit, but I think the higher road is better to take in those circumstances, and we always do. What I'm talking about, if someone calls you out publicly, maybe it's a revenge side where you think, if they do something wrong, I'm going to call them out publicly on it. But actually, that's a bad idea. Whatever trust you don't have, you certainly won't be building up if you engage in that kind of tit for tat thing. And the person calling out in the first place mightn't even be trying to cause any problems. He might just be trying to do the best that he or she can. So yeah, that's important, to flag things whenever they go wrong, but to flag them to the right person. This was a very important thing that happened this week. I don't know how I came across it, but on YouTube I was listening to Sun Tzu. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but Sun Tzu is a old war commander. He might not even been a war commander. He might have been a collection of war commanders, but he or that collection of people are responsible for a book. And I use the term book quite lightly. It's more like a scroll, or it's like a collection of writings written on almost like chopstick width tiles or boards or pieces of wood, and it's all in ancient Chinese symbols, I believe. And the writings come from a time whenever China was quite segregated within it, and it was different tribes, dynasties, groups of people that were at times fighting each other. And Sun Tzu wrote this work called The Art of War. I have read this book at various stages of my life. I don't know when I was first introduced into it. I think it was when I was I was working for another company, and I was getting some aggro from the team manager, and I didn't really respect the team manager. I didn't think they were very good, and I went to the internet or went to someone, I don't know, and said, look, I'm having a problem with this person, and I was saying, I'm going to go up against this person, or I'm going to call them out, or I'm going to go above their head to their manager, or I'm going to do something. But whoever told me about this said, look, I'm first going to tell you that going up against your manager, like going around their back, going behind their back and telling someone on them, complaining about them, it's like going up against as a man going up against an 800-pound gorilla. You have very little chance of winning. And the reason is because if you complain about that person, it's likely the person that you're complaining to that put that person into the position. And that changes the dynamic. So you might think that you're invaluable and you're really important, but as soon as you start to criticize the person above who has actually put the person who you've a problem with in there, you could have a problem. And that was the first thing that they said. And that then clicked with me. I thought, right, okay. So I need to figure out a different way of dealing with this. And I asked the person, or I researched more on where this came from, and it came from what the art of war is. It came from the Art of War from Sun Tzu, and what that is it's a book of strategy on basically how to win a war, or maybe not so much how to win a war, maybe more on how to not be surprised by the outcome of a war or a battle. And the point that was relevant to my story about having a problem with my manager was, in order to be successful in your battles, which would have been a battle that I was going into, you need to know yourself. You need to know your enemy. My enemy in this case was probably the boss, the manager. And you also need to understand the environment. And the environment is probably the senior boss that I was going to go and complain to. And I had to think back, I had to think about it, and I really didn't know myself. I didn't know really what I was supposed to be doing, or what I was doing wrong, or what I felt like I was doing wrong. So I had to reflect on that. I certainly didn't understand the manager. I knew I was frustrated at the manager, but I didn't really understand him. And I definitely didn't understand the environment, because I was going to go and complain whenever that would potentially have been a bad idea. So that probably saved me from a probable issue, and that probably saved me from doing the wrong thing or losing that battle. I can predict now that I would have lost that battle 100%, and it's because of that bit of wisdom that whoever it was told me. But then what I did was I read the Art of War. It's quite hard to read because it's translated from ancient Chinese, as far as I know, and it's fairly simple, but it's not done in a book format. It's done in like little sayings and little, not riddles, but kind of riddle-ish things. But they really do make you stop and think. They really, really do make you. They really do make you stop and think. And there's little things like, if your enemy is on higher ground or occupies the moral ground, then you can't attack him at that time, because you won't win. If you and your enemy are on similar ground, you have to be careful if you attack, because you're vulnerable as well. It's only whenever you're on higher ground that you can successfully take over an area. And that might be wrong, I don't know. But at certain times throughout my career, I have found The Art of War by Sun Tzu really useful in clarity, in not so much in knowing when to attack or knowing when to defend or knowing any of that stuff, more just knowing when to take a step back and knowing when to not engage, or having a bit of a further think about things before you take a course of action. It's also really interesting too. There's lots of wars around the world that war campaigns that failed, and if you look back at Sun Tzu's teachings, if they had have followed that, they would have been successful. Some parts of me are that I'm glad they're not successful. I'm a pacifist. I don't even like war. I'm more into the strategy in terms of business. But I just wanted to mention Sun Tzu, something I'm reading right now, because we're getting deep into some strategy. We're growing and we need to make the right moves. So moving at the right pace and making the right moves is very important. So that's what I'll be focusing on for the next while. So as I mentioned, Anthony has gone full time. We've rallied around our contractors as well in our Slack channel, which is cool. I was really pleased about that. But I guess this is where I kind of announce that we are now going to be looking for a new person. I will oversee everything, and Anthony will look after more creative things. And then the new person will be more like an account manager type person, someone to keep up reports and proposals and keep customers happy and do things like that. So we need a very organised person for that, and I'm looking forward to getting that job post up, and I'll let you know how that goes on the PDG Advertising Podcast. Something that I couldn't not mention on the PDG Advertising Podcast, and whereas I'll always tell you where we've fallen down, sometimes I have to tell you whenever we've done really, really well. Our customer in London, the furniture business, just a wonderful customer all around, but today I checked up on our reporting at about 1 p.m. and I always just check on Facebook ads and Google ads and make sure everything's running the way it should be. And for this customer, I'm always delighted to go and check the ROIS and ROI. And if you don't know what that is yet, it's return on investment. So it's how much they pay us plus ad spend versus how much they make. And today, now the highest they ever went was 333 times spend. So what it means is they pay like £1, and then they make £333 from every £1. And they ain't spending just £1 a day, they spend a lot more. So today, as an example, now I will probably get this wrong, but today we saw 280 times spend. So at about 1 p.m, we had literally spent £10 in adverts, and there was 2,800 and something in the revenue, tracked totally by Facebook. This was through just Facebook alone, and we're doing adverts on Google as well, and there was really positive ROI in there too. So I'm just really pleased to see. And I was on a really great sales call today. I was laughing on it, just like I'm laughing now, saying, yeah, we always say that we're going to get 5 times ROIS and ROI, and I do, because I see if it's going to be a good product or not. And I've got a little bit of that sixth sense now where I can see where something's good and when it's not. But I don't expect to get more than 5 times ROI. Like if you put your money in a bank, you're not gonna be able to get anywhere near that across a year. So I'm not arrogant to think that we're even going to get to that. But then whenever you see like 13 times ROIS, that happened consistently for a year for a customer, that was amazing. And then the odd time being like 20 or 30 ROI, that was cool. And then this customer comes in and it's something like on average 60 ROIS, and now today just 280 times spend. It's just incredible. And I'll share this journey more, and I'll bring you more into what this customer is all about, because I just get the feeling that if we do a great job here, we're going to be starting to take over some of the really big retailers. We talked about this on the phone, and there was a conversation that came up and said, well, we can't compete with Argos and we can't compete with John Lewis and those different people. We might be able to. I don't know. I wonder if we're just more focused. I wonder if we're as good as those guys. Can we get more bang for it? I mean, I can't imagine that Argos is sitting on a 280 times spend, and they might be. I don't know. But I guess the first step to figure that out is by scaling it. I guess the first time to figure it out is by working on increasing, because what we spend for this customer, it's about maximum £400 per week, and they make something like, this week they'll make something like £20,000 from that. So I think that we are going to need to scale it up. Maybe try a week with £1,000 if we can talk to our customer about it. And the only time we ever do that is whenever we're making money, and I think we are in this case. So let's consider that. So I went on to Bisma, Northern Ireland's business network, it's a really cool one. It's kind of a natural one that has sprung up. Guy Shane McCann, very nice guy. He asked me to go onto the app on Bisma. They've got a new app out, and I'm going to try it out and let you know how it goes. But also got speaking to speaking to this really lovely lady, Eve. She runs a business that helps people connect people with New Orleans. And that, as you would know, as you podcasters would know, that it is right. That is my bag and what I like. So I'm going to connect up with her and see how we can do something maybe together in the future. But the Bismarang network, and it's like a Zoom network where everybody goes on video. There's about 9 people and some familiar faces, some people that I've never met before at all. So that was a really nice thing to take part in this evening to finish off this Monday at about 9 p.m. So everyone, that was it. That was episode 36 of the PDG Advertising Podcast. There'll never be another episode 36, but tomorrow there will be episode 37. And I look forward to bringing that to you. Have a great evening, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.